Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. I'm your host, Shantae Grant, founder and creator of Best Today, where we help to change the way women think about themselves and their time. Really any human, but I create with women in mind and always will. So today I want to check in with you. We are at the end of a calendar year. If you know anything about me, and if you listened to last week's episode, we talked about not waiting for January. I really do not believe that we have to put our life on pause as we wait for a specific date or time of year to happen, because number one, tomorrow is not promised. And number two, today is the only day you have some semblance of control over. Yesterday doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow doesn't exist. And so I am a huge proponent of really living your life right now. With every inhale and exhale, you have the opportunity to take control over your life, to be more intentional, to choose yourself and your health and your well-being, and to choose you and life. And because of that, you will not find here here comes January, time to really rep. No, I will tell you that 365 days of the year. So I want to be clear about that. However, I also understand that I work with humans and I understand human behavior really well. And while I'm in the process of trying to help human behavior, I also have to work with it in that process. And with that, I think the end of a calendar year, regardless, is a great time of reflection. I also think any time is a great time of reflection. I love having moments of reflection every year for my birthday, which happens to fall in the month of December, the last month of the year. But because of that, I created a free resource for you. It's called a year-end review and self-check-in. It's called both because I created it with the end of the year in mind, but also I call it a self-check-in because you can use this at any point in time. I like to use these when I do my frequent quarterly solo staycations, which I have an episode about that if you want to learn more about how I plan and why I plan quarterly solo staycations. You can listen to that in episode 91. I'll link to that in the show notes as well for you. Today's show notes will be at besttoday.co/95. You'll also get the free download for your year-end review or self-check-in at besttoday.co/95. We'll have it linked in today's show notes as well. So let's get right into it. Let's talk through some things that might be helpful for you to think through as you come to the end of a year, or you come to any point where you just want to do some self-check-in. So this is an episode you can listen to at any point of the year. The first category is your health. And so what you're going to find in this free download that I've created for you is just a place to think through what are those things that you've done as you look back over the entirety of the year, or however amount of time you want to look back, maybe just this quarter, this month. What are the things that you've done that have been really great for your well-being and health? Your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. You can add another type: spiritual, financial, relational. I tend to find that the things that fall in the mental, emotional, and physical bleed into all those other places. So, but add the ones that matter to you. What are those things? Because we want to identify those things that we know get us the beneficial results that we're looking for in our lives. So we can identify them and then make sure we're being intentional about incorporating it in our daily lives. You know, one of the things there is the time of the year right now when I'm recording this is December. It's early December. And, you know, there is always on the internet these things going around about either stop pressuring people to do things in the month of December. We're all exhausted, right? Lies. Or the other end of like, come on, you got 30 more days in this year. It's not too late. Your best is right around that corner. You don't know, stop, just keep on because, you know, you still got so much to give. I don't subscribe to either line of thought because they're both missing the point, in my opinion. And the point is, I don't care what time of the year it is. If you're exhausted, it's time to look at what caused that exhaustion. Whether that's in February, November, December, April, March, May, July, you name the month, right? Because our bodies, our lives are a summation of the choices that we've made with the circumstances that we faced. And you have control over your life. And one thing that I choose to do through my life throughout its entirety, and not just based on the day of the week or the month of the year, is to go at a pace that is sustainable so that I don't have to subscribe to I'm exhausted, we're all exhausted, or I got to keep hustling and running and going. I don't have to do either, because throughout my entire life, throughout the entire year, I am pacing myself at a tempo that is sustainable, much like the tortoise and the hare. So I'm neither exhausted or in need of having to quote unquote hustle my face off. I'm just going to continue at the pace in which works for me and my life and my capacity, which throughout the year ebbs and flows and changes and shifts. And I honor that when it happens. And because of that, I don't need a message to hype me up into movement or to pat me on the back for choosing to rest, because I value motion and stillness year round. Okay. And that's what I want for you. So I just think that's important for those of you who come to any part of the year. People can say that for the summer. Oh, it's time just to kind of slow down. What if you made slowing down a part of your everyday life? Not saying there are no times of the year where you're not full blast. Y'all, you don't know my life. There are times where I am full throttle, but it's always at my capacity and pace. Okay. So I just wanted to say that aside, but the first part is really looking at the ways you want to incorporate real tangible things that work for you to promote your health and well-being. Okay. The next section is looking at your behaviors, because our behaviors are going to be really telling. What are the habits and patterns and behaviors first that you want to continue? Because you have made progress. You are doing it beautifully. I fully believe that if you're listening to this podcast, right? And so I want to applaud you and give you that, number one. So what are those habits and patterns and behaviors that you want to continue, that you've done a really beautiful job with? There is no thing is too small, or you stop looking for, oh, I haven't, insert whatever big grand thing you think is what equals importance. It could be the small things, okay? Because the small things really are the big things. Anyone you see do things big, they first had to master small. Please understand that, okay? What is one action step that you can take to ensure you continue those things, those habits, patterns, behaviors? And then let's identify those habits, patterns, and behaviors that you want to let go. And the beautiful thing about the Best Today Guide is every morning, it gives you an opportunity to do that. So if you're not using the Best Today Guide, and this is a helpful practice, that is a reason why you might want to go to besttoday.co today and order the Best Today Guide. So the second part of that self-check-in, end of the year review, whichever you want to call it, is talking about your behaviors. Part 3 looks at your time, because your time, y'all, that is the container that we live in, and is time. That's what I created a company starting first to talk to you about your time, because everything you want has to happen in time. At Best Today, we exist to help women just like you be your best one today at a time. So each week on the podcast, we are going to highlight your stories and your voices. So let's see what's in the inbox today. Today, we have a 5-star review of the How to Preview and Plan Your Months, Weeks, and Days manual. And that review comes from Emmy, who writes, a step-by-step guide with examples that will make planning much, all caps, simpler and smoother. For those who are wading in the shallow end of the planning pool, this guide is a thorough guide in helping you plan your months, weeks, and days in a way that is principle-based, but also includes enough examples and mock-ups of how it can look using the other planning products to make you feel confident and going forth to wade into the deeper waters of planning. I especially appreciated the examples, and they helped me understand the concepts to better implement them to my everyday. I've been referring to this guide daily to plan my day using the Me One method, and it's great to have all the information and examples in one place. This guide is a great help in training those planning muscles, especially for those like me who flounder about the day when I don't. It's like the training wheels to your planning bicycle that you can't live without until before you know it, you're riding on two wheels without a hitch. Thank you, Emmy, for multiple was it metaphors or similes? Which one like or as metaphor? Okay, here I am trying to see if I'm smarter than a fifth grader. But thank you, Emmy, so much for sharing the how to go from wading in the shallow end of the planning pool to the deeper waters, or how to go from on your training wheels and planning into those two wheels. Thank you so much for sharing how much the manual has helped you. I truly believe this is the first place for you to begin when you are trying to be proactive and intentional with your time. It's kind of like with your money, right? You first want to have an understanding of what's happening with your money, right? And this is how you have an understanding of really what's happening with your time by learning how to preview and plan your months, weeks, and days using the C-Tone and the Me One method. I teach you both of these in this manual. I not only teach them to you, I give you examples of each step, both at the month, week, and day, so all three. Then I give you mock-ups so that you can see what it actually looks like in real lived out life. So get yours right now by going to besttoday.co/CTONE. That stands for C-Tone, which is the method for previewing your months and weeks. And if none of this makes sense, just listen wherever you're listening right now. Click on the show notes for today's episode and it will link you directly to what you need. And I promise it will be as clear as the air on a nice crisp day. That is besttoday.co/C-Tone to get your manual right now. Right now, it's a 22-page manual that really helps you to get clear on how to preview, plan your months, your weeks, and your days. You can get that right now at besttoday.co/C-Tone. So let's look at your relationship with time. How would you describe it? What are the ways you want to improve upon it? And that's going to help me help you because all of my resources are going to meet you where you are. They're not meant to belittle you, to show you the distance between where you are and where you want to be. It is to literally take you right where you are, hold your hand, and walk alongside you as we move toward where you want to go. Okay, that's really important. But first, you have to be able to be aware of where that is. And what do you need help with right now? Is it routine first? Is it really listening to something like the Not Waiting for January and really understanding how to build that consistency muscle and some of the things you might be doing to make that more challenging for yourself or maybe even impossible? And so this is a place for you to just think through that and then think through the most important three things you want to give your time to. You also do this in the beginning of the Best Today guide and the new updated Best Today guide. And then one action step you're going to take. So all I'm doing is looking through the free download, which you can get at besttoday.co/95. We introduced this in episode 43 last year at the end of the year. The next part is talking about routine. Routine is really important. I teach about it so much. We have so many episodes on routine. If you just go to besttoday.co/podcast or just click the podcast button and click on routine as a topic, you'll get them all. Such wealth there. So pick the thing that you need when it comes to routine. And of course, if you're ready to learn how to create a routine, that's going to be Right Now Routine, which is our online program that teaches you in less than an hour how to create realistic routines that work for your life right now. And then the next section is on planning, talking about simple steps like, do you preview your week? Every week, I teach you how to do that with the C-Tone method in our manual. And not only in the manual do I walk you through how to do it, what every letter stands for. I give you examples of every letter. Then I give you mock-ups so you can see what that looks like in real life with our real products. All of that you can get at besttoday.co/C-Tone. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. I'm going to make a note to do that. So you'll have that as well. So we go through and there are some yes or no questions for you to answer when you're talking about planning, and then identifying what are the things that you need help with planning, what works currently with what are you planning consistently now that works well. And it's okay if your answer is absolutely nothing. You are not the first human to write that into these pages. Okay. But maybe you do have some things that are working really well. We can build from that. And so that's just another thing that you're going to go through and look at the assessment. And then we end with you. Save the best for last, right? And talking about your intentions. Are you really clear on what it is you want? Because that is what your time becomes a reflection of. Are you clear on who you are, who you want to become? Are you speaking kindness and encouragement to yourself? Another great episode would be the episode where I talk about changing the conversation with yourself and giving you some better questions. I can't remember the name of that episode, but I'll find it. I'm making myself a note. Questions to ask yourself. So yeah, I'll add that into the show notes as well. All of that will be for you at besttoday.co/95. And so as we take time to just pause and really check in with ourselves, I've created this document to give you like a guide, just some guidance on maneuvering through that. From that, you may find other things you want to write about or journal about or reflect on. This is a beginning of a conversation, and then allowing you to find the resources and tools you need to find out right where you are. Remember, again, it's not about finding the thing that, oh, ideally, this is what I'd be ready for. If you're not ready for that, don't get that thing. It's what are you ready for? What do you need right now? And then you don't know what tomorrow will bring because it's dependent upon what you do today. So that is what I have for you today. You can go and download it for free at besttoday.co/95. I'll have it linked in today's show notes. But again, that review is going to go and walk you through the categories. Again, our health. I'm flipping through it now. Your behaviors, time, routine, and planning, and you. You can go download yours right now for free at besttoday.co/95. Enjoy. Please tag us and share with us in the community. Text us. We want to see the things you're discovering, uncovering as you work through this. Again, our phone number is 404-737-1002. I'll link to that in the show notes as well. And that is what I have for you today. So I hope you will take the time, because you are worth the time to pause and reflect. You are worth the effort. And if you happen to be listening in real time and you're not signed up to join us in Greenville, South Carolina, or virtually for our one today at a time in-person workshop, this is a great time. We're going to do deep diving in 2 days, and you want to be in that room. If tickets are still available, go grab those right now. Those are going to be listed at besttoday.co/Greenville. All right, friends, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Thank you for being present with me for this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. Until next time, remember that you are capable and worthy of being your best one today at a time, and you have everything you need to have everything you want. So go on, shout it out as you live it out. This is what my best today looks like. I'll talk to you on the next episode. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Best Today podcast, you are going to love the Best Today guide. Our Better Than a Planner guide teaches you how to get clear on what you want, identify your self-destructive habits and behaviors, and intentionally create space to prioritize yourself every single day. Don't go the journey to being your best one today at a time without the Best Today guide. See inside its pages and order yours today at besttodayguide.com. Even better, when you order the Best Today guide, we gift you with your first month free inside of the Best Today membership. So what are you waiting for? We're giving you everything you need to trade busy for intention. Go to besttodayguide.com and order yours today, and join thousands of women across the globe proclaiming each day, this is what my best today looks like.